Hey everyone, a fantastic Thursday. For those of you in the Southern Hemisphere with me, I hope that you have had a wonderful day. And for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, I hope that you are having a wonderful start to your day. So the reason why I decided that tonight was talking about the Northern Lights is because ever since I was a little girl, whether I've watched it on television or I've watched it in movies, I have always been fascinated by the Northern Lights and what an incredible phenomenon it is. And as you're jumping on to tonight's session, let me know where you are listening in from: Australia, New Zealand, UK, Canada, America. It is always quite interesting to me just how far and wide my sessions do reach. So today I was watching a Christmas movie on Netflix called My Christmas In. And it's this lady, she's a very high-powered marketing executive, and her great aunt has left her an inn that's situated in Alaska. And so this lady goes to Alaska and she's pleasantly surprised at how beautiful the inn actually appears. And it's in a very small, tight-knit community town. It's a beautiful little town. And there's a gentleman, and over the course of her time in this little town, there's one particular night that he takes her to this secluded area. It's all romantic. And she actually sees the Northern Lights in person. And she said the same thing as me. She's like, oh, I've always seen it on TV or movies, but, seeing it for myself is otherworldly. And then she asks the guy how all of the colors are even possible. And what the guy says is the Inuits, so the traditional owners of Alaskan territory, they believe, and their culture and their heritage teaches them and teaches their next generations that when you have lived a passion-filled life and you've lived life to the full, you are deemed worthy. And as you go to heaven, you are made worthy to be an angel of light. And you guide the path of your descendants. And you are a reminder in the sky to those that you've left behind to live a passion-filled life and live life to the full. Now, your definition of a passion-filled, fully lived life is going to be different to me. But I don't want you to allow anyone to diminish your idea of a passion-filled, fully lived life. Because during this movie, the main character actually reads her great aunt's diary and learns some really beautiful life lessons from reading her great aunt's diary. And I'm trying to be as vague as I can because I really do want you to watch the movie for yourself. So for someone, a passion-filled, fully lived life is traveling the world and doing, crazy adventurous things and having wild, wacky, crazy stories to share with anybody and everyone who will, bend you their ear. For other people, a passion-filled, fully lived life is you're a husband or you're a wife and you have children and your house is your home, and everyone comes to your home to celebrate Easter and Christmas and Mother's Day and Father's Day, and your home is where everyone wants to be. Your home is that place that just is warmth and comfort and joy, and just it's chock-a-block full of beautiful memories. And you might have 2, 3, 4 generations come together at certain times throughout the year, and you cook together. So you might be an Italian family, and you make your tomato pasta sauce, or you make salami throughout the year. Or, everyone comes together. If you're in America, you make a big deal out of 4th of July. You make a big deal out of Thanksgiving. You make a big deal out of Halloween. And so for you, your little town, your little community, and being an active member of your community, that is your passion-filled life lived to the full. And as you watch My Christmas Inn, this beautiful town, everyone knows everyone, everyone helps everyone, and Christmas is a week-long celebration. The week before Christmas, like they do a festival, and it's a week-long festival, and every day there's different activities, and every night there's different activities, and the whole town comes together and makes a really big deal out of Christmas. And for them, their town, and loving on each other and being that community that everyone kind of wears multiple hats, that's their passion-filled life lived to the full. For you, your passion-filled life lived to the full is you're a wildlife rescuer. You save wombats or koalas or wallabies or bilbies, or kangaroos, and you rehabilitate them and you release them back into the wilds. And if you see dead kangaroos, you're one of those people that checks the pouch for the joey, and you've done like wildlife rescue training, and that is your passion filled, fully lived life. There was that woman, I can't remember her name, but she dedicated her life to gorillas in the Amazon. I think it was Diane. Was it Diana? But she dedicated her life to gorillas. She died for them. And whether you are, your name's in lights and you're on a stage in front of the world audience, or whether you're behind closed doors and your audience is your kids or your partner, as long as you wake up every day and you love your life, as long as you wake up every day and you are happy, content, joyful and fulfilled, and you go to bed every night saying, that was an amazing day, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow, that is a passion-filled, fully lived life. And David T.S. Wood has said in a lot of his podcasts with a lot of his interviewees that he's dancing into his grave. He's leaving nothing in the tank. And he's going to be looking back and saying, my life was freaking awesome. And he's going to be dancing his way into, the party and the beyond. So you really need to shake off judgment, and you really need to shake off criticism, and you really need to shake off comparisonitis. comparisonitis is that thing that makes you think or feel that your life is not how it should be because that person's life looks so much better than mine. I think it was Dar Man that he did, like, he had his repertoire of people that it was a couple, and you know, their Instagram feed looked so amazing, and there was this regular couple that was like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have their life? And then it turned out that this ordinary couple was actually able to see this couple off the Instagram screen, and the car wasn't really their car. It was just a fancy car that was parked in a car parking lot. And they were having a fight over nothing. And there was another scene, and the ordinary couple was like, you know what? We're actually pretty great together. And you know what? We've actually got a pretty good life. And they went on their way. So you need to shake off comparisonitis. How someone's life looks on Facebook or Instagram is heavily filtered, and it's heavily staged. I remember I did a personal training session, and after the personal training session, I was like the photographer, and like everything was staged, and I had to wait for the right moment, and they were like pretending to be on their phone. They were pretending to be on the computer. They were pretending to be talking to each other. It was such a weird and actually strange thing to be like photographing and really staging a photo. And now every time I see their photos, their finished photos, I'm like, how long did it take you to stage that? And some people are only going to show you their highlight reel on Facebook and Instagram. They're not going to show you what happens behind closed doors. They're not going to show you the bad days. They're not going to show you the ugly days because they're worried that you'll unfriend them. They're worried that you'll block them. They're worried that you'll screw up their algorithm that they've worked so hard to be in sync with. That you'll unfollow them and you'll screw up their following status, and you'll screw up their influencer status. So always take the content that you see on Facebook with a grain of salt, and always know that behind that perfect post there is sadness, disappointment, frustration, annoyance, heartbreak behind that photo that they will never share because they don't want you to see all the sides of them. They only want you to see their highlight reel. And when you are living a passion-filled life, when you are living life to the fullest, your good days are inspiring. Your bad days, let someone else know they're not alone. That you are not invincible. You're not untouchable. Like, you have feelings. You're not a robot. Your ugly days, let people know that they can achieve what you achieve. Your beautiful days, yes, that's something to work towards, but be willing and prepared to show someone just how much hard work it took to get there. How much sacrifice did you make to lose 30 kilos? How much sacrifices did you make to get to the rank advancement that you are in your network marketing company? How much sacrifices have you made to be able to open a second bricks and mortar site, or to be able to hire more staff? and really being prepared to just show yourself and living your truth, living what makes you happy, living what makes you joyful, living what makes you content, and living what makes you fulfilled. There are people that love doing reenactments, like they'll be in a Civil War reenactment society, or they'll be in a Renaissance reenactment society where they'll be a pirate, or they'll be a Viking or a knight, and on the weekends or during the week after work, you know, you'll see them at parks. There are people that play Quidditch out in the parks. They've got their brooms and they're running around and they're throwing the balls. I don't know how they have the golden snitch. I don't know how that works, but they do play their version of Quidditch. And that makes them so happy. There are people who are disciplined with the sport that they do. They get up at the crack of dawn and they train before school, and then they go to school, and then they're back in the training ring after school and on the weekends. They don't go to parties, they don't drink, they don't do anything that society would perceive as fun, because their sport is their fun, their sport is their passion. So really start honoring and respecting and appreciating what you're passionate about. If you're passionate about lawn bowls is not an old person sport, people. Matt plays lawn bowls, and I've seen teenagers that are champions. They're they're regional champions, they're state champions, they're national champions, and they're teenagers or they're very young adults. Lawn bowls is for all ages, and there are kids and teenagers and young adults that love it, absolutely love it. And it brings joy to the older members knowing that their sport isn't going to die with that generation. The torch has been passed over. If you love doing cross-stitching or knitting or sewing or embroidery, that's not, you know, something that's gone out with the 18 or 1900s. It's not just something that, you know, grandmas do. A lot of young people love being handy, and when you go to the Royal Easter Show and you see people's patchworks, they're incredibly proud of, you know, what took them, you know, weeks or months to create, and it's their original art. Instead of a paintbrush, they use a needle and thread. If you love making jams and chutneys and relishes, and you love having a market stall, and every Saturday or every Sunday you're at your farmer's market and you have regular customers and you're in the same spot, so you've got regular stall holders that you all know each other's names and your market is your little community, that is amazing. Enjoy that and celebrate that. You need to celebrate what you're passionate about and not allow anyone to judge you or criticize you or make you feel silly for being passionate about what you are passionate about. There's a gentleman, I can't remember his name, but he is like a master pencil artist. Like, he uses a graphite pencil and he does like crazy calligraphy and he does crazy pencil work, and he teaches people how to use pencils. He teaches people how to do calligraphy with pencils. He teaches people how to draw and respect and love the power of a pencil. And he's like he has a name, like it's a profession, and he's a master of it. It's not a master calligrapher. It's something else. But that's what he's passionate about, and he's turned it into a business. And a lot of people would be like, pencil? Really? but it's an art form that he is making sure does not die. And there's a whole bevy of people that love to use a pencil to do calligraphy or to actually create stunning artwork pieces. So really tap into your passions. Really tap into what lights you up. What gets you up and out of bed? What puts a smile on your face? What makes you have a hop and a skip in your step every day? What makes you that person that everyone wants to be around? That everyone wants to spend time with? That people will find an excuse to stop by your cubicle and have a chit chat. They'll find a way to bump into you in the kitchen just to have a chit chat, just to be in your presence, because there's just something about you that just, you draw people in, you just magnetize people to you. I remember the first time I went to Supernova, which is a comic convention, and there was a girl there, and she had the most vibrant orange hair, like it was beautiful. And she had the most rainbow colored outfit I've ever seen in my life. Like, she was absolutely beautiful. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, can I take a photo of you? And because I only knew a little bit about anime and I didn't know a lot about video games, and I didn't know a lot about anime, I'm like, I'm so sorry to sound stupid, but are you an anime character or is this something original? And she's like, I'm the spirit of Supernova. And I loved it. And she was just this energy bubble for the whole weekend. And people wanted to take photos with her. And you just felt good being around her. It was such a nice experience. And there are people that are passionate about cosplay. They take months and they make their own costumes, or they spend thousands of dollars to order all the parts. I think it was my first Supernova or it was my first Armageddon. I think it was my first Armageddon, which is now the Australian Multimedia Convention. This guy had ordered all the bits and pieces to have a full Halo suit, like full armor, the helmet, everything. It lit up. Like, he spent $5,000 or $7,000, but that was his passion project. And people were like, you spent $7,000, and he didn't care, because that was his joy. That was his passion, and that's what lit him up. And I'm like, awesome. Awesome. I love it. It's fantastic. So my question to you is, what are you passionate about that you are not letting the world see? What makes you happy that you're hiding from the world? What brings you joy, makes you content, and makes you fulfilled that you're keeping away from the light of day? Are you an artist? Like, you're really good at sketching or you're really good at painting? Are you a singer? Like, you've got the voice of a nightingale? Are you a dancer? Like, you've got moves? Or you're a beatboxer? Like, you can do you can do all the funny and interesting and cool stuff of beatboxing. I really want you to start sharing your passion with the world, and even your little world, the people around you, and see how much fun you can really have by actually pursuing your passions. Now, your passion may never become a job. It may never become a career. It might always just be a hobby. However, your hobby keeps you calm. It keeps you centered, and it allows you to be focused, determined, and dedicated at your job that does earn you money and pays you bills. So dust off your dancing shoes or grab that scrapbook out and start really giving time, love, and attention to your passions and reignite that fire within you that maybe just be embers at the moment, but with a little bit of love, roaring fire. And you will find that as you start really being your happiest, most content, most joyful, most fulfilled version of yourself, you will have a deeper, more richer, more beautiful relationship with your partner, with your parents, with your siblings, with your children, with your neighbors, with your co-workers. And people will see that something has changed in you. I want to finish with Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. Now, Natalie Portman's character loves to play the piano. And all throughout the movie, her fingers are like, imaginary playing the piano. And you kind of hear a song starting and then stopping. And Mr. Megorium, he knows that he's at the end of his life. And he gifts Mahoney a box, a cube. And it's just a box. However, there's a point of the movie where Mr. Megorium has left and the whole shop just sad because Mr. Megorium's gone. And Mutant, played by Jason Bateman, the accountant, everyone calls him Mutant, he says, oh, it's just a box. And she's like, it's not just a box. And the box moves. And she's like, come on. And like the box is, she's like, it's okay. If you fall, I'll catch you. And the box just starts dancing. And Mahoney creates her song. And she brings the store back to life and discovers her passion. And she shares her passion of music. And that's what brings the store back to life. And she keeps Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium going, and she uses music. Music is her way of keeping the store's magic going and keeping the store alive and tapping into her passion for music. So, are you ready to reawaken your passions and pursue your desires to become the best version of you? I cannot wait to see what things you decide to pursue or even to reinvigorate your passion for. And I would love for you to tag me in the things that you choose to reignite your passion for. I'd really love to see what kind of things your heart wants you to give time and energy and passion into. Thank you so much for joining me in our session. I always love spending time with you, whether it is at the end of your day in the Southern Hemisphere with me, or it is the start of your day for the Northern Hemisphere. As you know, I never pre-plan the next day's activity, so I do look forward to seeing you tomorrow with our next message. I do hope that you got incredible value out of our session together today, and I look forward to seeing those of you who are going to do the Power Talk meditation with me tomorrow, 6 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow night, 7:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. As always, be safe, be well, much love.